So welcome to big mistake number 4. So what is big mistake number 4, you might ask? Well, it's a simple one really. It's a complex one, but it's simple to say, not so easy to do, yeah? And the thing is that you need to have a mindset change. Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means really is that over life, we've got ourselves through programming, conditioning, social situations, things that have happened to us. We create a sort of what I call a model of life really. So we hold preciously this model. And from here comes all of our things we believe, all of our opinions, of course, big opinions, and our patterns then stem from those things as well. So if you really want to get a different result, you've got to be really, really honest and go, okay, so on a scale of 0 to 10, how well am I getting the results I want? Well, if you're getting a 10 right now and everything's fantastic, you don't need to be doing this, But if you're down there, anything below 7, I'll be going, oh, that's not so good, So think about what's the world delivering to you. So at this moment in time, is it what you want? Because if it's not, then looking at this model of life is the secret now.
Yeah, and you might be asking yourself the question, because often people do, is what's this got to do with intimate relationships? And of course the answer is everything, because it's only when you can have this mindset change and when you can absolutely look at your model of the world, your patterns, your opinions, your what level of confidence you have, is only when you can really be honest about that and say to yourself, what results is that getting me? Can you have a great relationship? Because otherwise, and here's the key, if you don't have a great mindset about yourself and about life in general, what tends to happen is that will show up. If it's going to show up anywhere, it's going to show up in your intimate relationship, isn't it? So consequently, what will happen then is like, even if you were to get yourself in a great place and you're really happy, remember about mistake number 3, you're really happy, what tends to happen with people is they get into a relationship and then all their old stuff comes up. And so what tends to happen is they behave in a certain way that is either, a good example of it would be somebody who goes into a relationship and then they are dependent on that relationship for being happy. So consequently, they don't have enough belief in themselves, they don't have enough confidence in themselves to go, you know what, I want to stay in a great space, I want to share that. We always say that, when what we're in a relationship about is not to get from each other or to depend on each other for anything, but actually to share, both having an individually a great life, and therefore then we create an us which is having a great life too, which is a whole big subject that we talk about in depth, don't we? So, but it's this, it's that mindset change that's going to affect your relationship.
Think of it like this, step 1 on all of this, of the 5 steps to love, step 1 is what? Yes, it's awareness, so it's becoming aware of your mindset. Now, we just had a great email in from somebody who's obviously got a model of life, actually we've all got one, and what that person just wrote to us, and they're obviously not having a great experience, because they're moaning like mad about not having a great experience, but then from their model of life have burst everything they believe and all of their big arse opinions, as I say. And it's these 2 things that's the big mistake. He's got so many big opinions about life and so many beliefs about life that he's got a crap result, but of course he's looking at mistake number 1, he's blaming the world for this and everybody else, instead of going and becoming aware that, oh my gosh, my model of life could be the bit that's actually giving me the experience that I'm getting right now.
And also when you were just talking about that, it made me realise something, because obviously a lot of the time we have people write in and they give us all their opinions and their thoughts and actually the way that they interact with us is often a good identifies quite clearly the way that they interact with other people, and that's interesting, of course. And what it really made me think was that if I was coaching that person, and we do have a number 1 rule, we're not trying to coach anybody that's not asking to be coached, is that if I was coaching that person, what would I be doing is first thing I'd be saying is, what's really going on inside of you? And I can guarantee, with having coached now thousands of people in the last 5 or 6 years, we have come across so many people who, when they tell the truth, they go, you know what, that's all just a front. It's an opinion I've got when actually I don't really feel good enough about myself. So I blame the world, mistake number one, and I say all these things that says, well, how can that work? Or, I need a guarantee that will work, when actually it's their mindset that's the very thing that is stopping them being in a relationship. And I always say, when somebody, because I'm can be quite blunt if I'm coaching somebody, if I was coaching that guy, I'd be going, you know what, no woman wants to be in a relationship with that. Why would a woman? And when a woman describes their partner, or obviously the other way around, this is the same. When a woman describes their partners using that behaviour, I'll often say to them, why would you want to be with that person? Because actually having those very, very strong opinions about how the world works and it actually is just showing not really having confidence in yourself.
Absolutely. It's like the self-worth, or one of my favourite things that I absolutely recognise in me is my self-esteem. Although on the sort of mask of me, people would go, well, you seem like a very confident guy, but you see behind this sort of ego part of me that's putting up that pretense was somebody who was actually less confident than I looked. Yes. And so one of the mad things I did is I thought, well, okay, and this is a great test. So if you could become aware that, oh my gosh, I have got a model of life, I have got a lot of big ass beliefs and a big opinions that actually, to be honest, it seems like people don't really agree with them, and it seems to move them away from me. Well, you just got to check in. You've got to be aware of what's happening when you give off everything you believe in, your opinions, and you run all your patterns and all of that sort of stuff. And you've got all these strategies for life that aren't working but seem great on paper. If that's happening to you, well, what I decided to do to really get me to break through that barrier was to do something that would bring up that for me. So it's like put myself in a place where my self-esteem was really going to be challenged, and so I decided to learn to sing. Well, most people are in fact terrified of learning to speak in public. If you have to get up at a wedding, if you've ever had to get up at a wedding or something similar and make a speech, and you're not used to doing that, oh my gosh, people come out in a cold sweat. They become terrified for weeks and months in advance, worrying about this couple of minutes where they've got to get up and talk. And why is that? Because they're fearful inside of what other people are going to think about them. That's the truth. So if you think about, okay, getting up and speaking in front of an audience is tough, what would getting up and singing in front of an audience be like if you've never done it before? Well, it's going to be terrifying, But you see, this is the point. When you recognise that feeling in you, that feeling that, oh my gosh, I'm terrified, that's when you can accept for yourself. You can go, do you know what? I accept that I'm feeling like that. Now I can do something about it, Because know that your self-esteem is like the power of this thing. The mindset needs to be changed to you're confident in yourself. Now, one of the greatest things about Nikki is that she's very confident in herself. Now, I guess she wasn't always like that, but she's learned to be, trusting of life. She doesn't see everything as bad, and she's trying to protect herself, trying to get safe all the time, trying to get, comfortable and get a lot of security around her. She's secure in herself. And actually, how amazing was it? I went to learn to sing, and I learned that. My first singing lesson, I had to make the first noise. The guy gave me the microphone and said, okay, well, show me what you can do. And I'm like holding the microphone, shaking, going, oh my God. And then I let out this sound. It was terrible. And I'm in this little studio, and I could hear myself, and I could hear my own fear. But you see, that was my moment of acceptance. Acceptance, okay, I am fearful. I'm not now pretending I'm not anymore. I'm going, okay, so that is my fear. What am I going to do about that? And that's why becoming an awareness of your beliefs and strategies and models that are really all there protecting you. And then when they're out in the open, you can go, okay, now I can accept. Actually the truth about me is, and the big ass mistake I'm making, is I need to change my mindset about myself and get my self-esteem up. And of course, what was great about the singing example is within an hour of having the microphone in my hand, this man taught me some great things, and I felt like $1 million. My self-esteem level went up the scale massively, because all that had happened is that I'd had that mindset change from I can't do this, I'm terrified of doing this, to oh, actually, this is pretty damned easy. All I needed was some bit of education and some tools, and to change my model of beliefs, you see, because I'm believing that I can't do it. I'm believing I'm no good at it, yeah? My strategy for singing wasn't right, yeah? So hence I'm getting bad results. So.
And of course, you see, so what was so great about that, how did that show up when I first met Tony, which was not long after that, was that, you see, he's showing up as somebody who's, you know, not like running a I know everything, I'm super confident, I'm superior pattern. He's what he showed up as is a man who's got confidence in himself. So guess what? Then when we start talking about what he's going to do with his life going forward, because you were at like kind of a bit of a crossroads at the time, weren't you? You know, he's talking about that with great confidence, which is obviously very attractive to a woman. And it's like he's got that confidence inside himself. Now on the reverse, there was I, absolutely happy with my life. I'm not in a place where I'm going, okay, I am super confident because I've got all my stakes in the ground and I'm very secure, you know, both financially and in myself, so that I don't need anybody. You know, where I was, you know, I'm in a great space, I'm confident, I know that I'm safe, I know that I can, you know, put a roof over my head and you know, food on the table. I don't need a man to do that. So that, of course, is much more attractive to a man. Absolutely. That shows up in a different way. And of course, how that also affects when you're in a relationship, when you're in more of a long-term relationship, is that so many times if somebody's not confident in themselves, the way that will impact on their relationship is that they will come over in a, often one good example is like they'll either run a superior pattern or an inferior pattern. So think about it. You know, when you're not feeling in a good space about yourself, when you're not confident, or when you're not, you know, feeling safe or secure in your certainty about, you know, living your life, what do? Do you come over all kind of superior, where you're kind of going, well, you know, the way you need to do this is like this? Or do you come over inferior, which is more like, I don't know what to do, help me? Because you see, neither of those things are conducive to passion. Neither of those things are conducive to being in a loving, you know, gorgeous relationship where you have a great life together. They're only going to cause you to get disconnected. And I mean, there are so many examples of those patterns, and we'll go into those in more detail in different the different videos that we're presenting to you here. But you know, they are fundamentally always about a reaction to not feeling confident in yourself.
Not feeling good enough. So there you have it, really. We've got awareness of your model. Okay, so think about it. It's, what do I believe? You know, what are my beliefs? If I had to write them down, or you can hear them, of course, remember the listening. Listen, they'll come out of your mouth all of the time. You'll be going, yeah, but this is what I think. When you say this is what I think, that's a belief. And then you have to look and see if that belief is actually serving you well. And what would it mean if you believe something different? Yes. So it's coming into the awareness of what do you believe, you know, and your opinions. You know, I always say we've got an opinion about everything. Now, where do we get those from? Now, opinions can be good and opinions can be less good. Now, the less good ones are the ones that you've read about, you know. So I would say to people, well, you know, what's your opinion about the war right now, yeah? And you know, everybody will have an opinion about that. We either should be there or we shouldn't be there or whatever. But actually, have we got all the facts to have a great opinion? Well, not really. All we've had is a, you know, load of newspaper stuff, a load of, you know, stuff on the television, and from that we somehow suddenly get an opinion, and then we like stick to that opinion. We guard it like ferociously from everybody else. You know, if you're a non-war person and somebody comes up and they've got a different opinion, well, but you know, do you have all the facts? Now, I know that's an extreme example, but you see, you're doing that in everything that you've got an opinion about. How would it be that it's the opinion that's holding you back? And actually, your opinion's often based on changing your mindset, because it keeps you safe in some way to have that opinion, or it keeps your identity safe if you've got that opinion, because you want people to think that about you, yeah? Absolutely. So it's very fascinating. So accepting this, of course, step 2, is always one of the most difficult things, is accepting that maybe, how would it be that my opinions actually aren't really working for me? It's not really about making them wrong. It's going, okay, so how are they serving me? What could I do differently here? If I had a different opinion about that, what different action might I take, and what different result might I get? So it's been a, you know, super aware and accepting, okay, my life is a result of my opinions, my beliefs, you know, my strategies, and all of those things. And if that's working for you, great, as we always say. If it's not working for you, then know that you're with pretty much everybody else in being, this is big mistake number 4, that our mindset is often at the root cause of everything.
Yeah, and that the whole making that mindset change is so valuable for a relationship, because the thing that's going to cause you to not have a great relationship is going to be when you stick vehemently to your opinion on something and you're not open. Open is such a great space to be, and in order to be open you have to be confident. You have to feel good about yourself, because you have to say, you know what, I'm not going to beat myself up because I used to believe that. I'm not going to beat myself up and go, what does that mean about what I've been believing all this time? It's about being open and saying, you know what, I'm okay having a different mindset about this. And actually that's the way that's so conducive to a really great connection between you, because you're going, well, maybe in this moment in time I need to be confident enough to listen to somebody else and to go, how could this work better for us?
Yeah, certainly one of the, my favourite people is someone who's so open, He's a guy that's done really, really well in life, but he's completely open to having new things, new experiences in his daily life, and not judging by those things. Just being completely open and not having an opinion about everything. That's not serving him. And by being more open, he gets a completely unbelievable experience in life, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And you just made me think about something else, because is that so many, we all have a need to feel certain, which is what we're talking about. We all have a need to feel confident in ourselves and to feel that great certainty. But we also have a need for variety, and we have a need for things to be different. But of course, if we've got a mindset that says change is scary and change is wrong, if we're not open to the fact that it could be different now, we can have a different relationship or a different model of how we run our business or whatever. Just thinking that just then, sometimes Tony will just say to me, let's do this differently. And my old pattern was to go, well, hold on a minute, we used to do this, we used to believe this. Listen to the way that my mindset, was. We used to believe this, so what does that make that wrong? Well, actually, no. And of course, what the benefit is to me is that instead of seeing change as in any way scary or, not good, I just see it as hey, great, because this is like, bring more variety into our lives. And how would it be if it was the change that makes things better?
Yeah, and I always say, I've got my little old favourite thing that I do, which is to, just fold your arms. Yeah, just fold your arms and go, well, that feels quite comfortable, doesn't it? It feels okay, because that's what you always do when you fold your arms. Well, now just do it the other way around and feel like that feels strange. It feels, but is it wrong? Is it wrong? It's just different, This is just different to that. Now, if this is what you're used to, and then you do that and it feels different, if you did this enough, then that will become normal. But of course, most people don't like the change, so they just go back to doing what they've always done. And that's what a mindset change is to be open to this being actually okay. How would it be this could get you a better result than what you've always done? That's all it is. That's the simple big mistake number 4 that people make, is they're not prepared or open enough to make a mindset change. So if you want to have that fantastic relationship that we all really dream about, I certainly had to fold my arms the other way around to get in connection with this great woman and have the life that we now share. So it's awesome, really.
That's lovely.
So there you go, big mistake number 4, change your mindset. We'll be back with you for big mistake number 5 as soon as you want to pop it in the old machine and play it, or watch it on the internet, however you're watching it. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.